Real quick before this video started, I did want to mention the Pure VPN affiliate deal. The guys over there have been really great and hooked me up with an affiliate deal. If you're in the market for a VPN, by all ways that I can tell, this seems to be a good, secure one. They've got a third party on-site auditing, making sure they're not keeping logs. I don't use a VPN all that much. I've used this one a fair bit. It seems to be about as fast as anything else I've used. So if you're in the market, check it out. Let's get to it. So today I want to one more time talk about theming on Linux. Now, this of course is not a new concept. I've touched on it a little bit on my channel with stuff about Pywall and WPGTK. I've got a video upcoming about theming the awesome window manager. And honestly, if you go on to like Unix porn or something, a lot of times these things really focus on theming whatever desktop environment you're using, awesome, i3, DWM, whatever, and theming the terminal and terminal apps like Ranger and the vFile manager, stuff like that. But what I want to talk about is actually graphical apps, GTK apps, and QT apps. GTK apps is probably most of the stuff that you're going to use. It's stuff like LibreOffice, stuff like PCman FM, Thunar, Nitrogen is a little wallpaper setter that I use that runs GTK. As far as QT apps go, the only one I actually know about is VirtualBox. There it is there. That's a QT app. It uses the QT apps theme, and you can see right now everything is using these really gross white themes. And if we take a look at Thunar or PCman FM, you can actually see these are actually using these really gross icons too. Let's try and make it a little bit better. So, a couple of things we're going to need. There are a few files we want to download, one called LX Appearance, not files, programs, one called LX Appearance, and one called, what is it called? It's called QT5CT. So both of these apps are actually in the standard Arch Linux repository. So you can do sudo pacman-s and install LX Appearance and QT5CT. Both of these will install. They're relatively lightweight apps, and you'll be good to go. Now, depending on what system you're using, what whether you're using Arch, something super minimal, whatever, whenever you open up LX Appearance or QT5CT, you might have a few themes installed by default. And it's actually really easy to install more themes. You can, if you're using the AUR, you can pretty easily just, let's do a yay-ss. Once you find the name of a theme you like, a good example of this is something like Gruvbox. I'm a big fan of this one. You can just search for Gruvbox, and let's see what comes up here. So we've got theme for Vim. We've got a GTK theme right here. There's probably a QT theme in here somewhere. There's an icon theme right here as well. What you can also do if you're just looking to see what your options are, you can do yay-ss and just search for GTK. See what comes up. That probably won't only give you themes. So you could also search maybe just theme. See what comes up there. You can see there's a lot of popular stuff that comes up. You could go and search through a lot of the repositories, but maybe the easiest way to do it would be to just open up a browser and search badass themes for Linux, GTK. See what comes up, and there's going to be about 1 million articles telling you there's a lot of lists of these, and you can find them. You can find one that looks cool. You can probably search it. It very well might be in the AUR, or you can just Google to figure out how to do it once you know what you're looking for. And then once you have the themes, you've got them installed, it's really easy to come into LX Appearance and let's select a theme here. Let's go Gruvbox Dark. Let's pick an icon theme too. I've got these Gruvbox icons. We can even install mouse cursors. We can change fonts. And also, just so we're clear, that's pretty much the same story over here in QT5CT. You just have to come over to custom and let's, let's pick something that's dark. I don't have a ton of QT themes installed. I'm gonna go ahead and hit apply. You can also change fonts, icon themes. We've been over all of this. One thing I should mention, in order to get the QT themes to load, you have to install the QT5CT app, and then it takes a little bit of extra setup. You have to set an environment variable. So if I'm going to use Chrome for this so I can refresh the theme pretty easily. If you're looking to theme web browsers, most web browsers I've used work with GTK, not QT. QT. In Firefox, it's the default theme as soon as you install on Linux. In Chrome, you have to go over to settings, and then over here on appearance. I know this screen is washed out. I'll get off of this gross white screen in a second. It's going to be set to classic. You just have to hit use GTK. Okay, anyways, now we're going to search for the QT5CT GitHub page. So this is it right here, or at least this is a mirror of it. What you have to do is you have to add this environment variable right here to get this to load. So what you want to do is right here, /etc x11 xsession-d. Let's just open up a new terminal here. What you're going to want to do is cd into /etc/x11, and then you're going to want to create this folder right here, xsessions.d. So you can do sudo make dir xsession s.d. Then once you've done that, cd in there, and you're going to need to create a file called 100-qt5ct. So we can do sudo touch 100-qt5ct. Once you have that, use any text editor you like. You are going to need to do it as a super user to save. So we're going to do sudo invim 100 qtc5t, and we just paste in this environment variable. And then what you'll have to do is like log out, or you shouldn't need to restart the whole system. You just need to restart the X11 server, which usually happens when you log out and log back in. If something's not working right, just restart the whole system. That should definitely fix it. Also, just to be clear, you don't have to use Vim to edit this. If I were to install something like gedit really quickly, the same still holds true. If I wanted to edit this file, I would just have to do sudo gedit 100 qt5ct, and there it is. It'll launch it right there. No big deal. You just have to launch it from the command line so you can do it as super user. Anyways, once you have that done, you should be all set to start setting themes, and you can go through and search for themes, but it's probably going to be kind of difficult to find the same theme to work with GTK and QT. I mean, some of the really popular ones like Grovebox, there's a QT and a GTK theme. I forget what all the popular themes are called. Like, you can probably do it, but what I want to talk about is something else that will let us make our own themes that we can use both in QT and in GTK. So this is something I could have talked about in the video about Pywall. It's an app called MAKC, and basically what it does is it lets you make themes, graphical themes. It can pull input from an image, which is why it's handy to use it with something like Pywall, but I don't really have any interest in that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do yay-s MAKC. This is in the AUR. Hit enter, and it will install. Let's see here. Let's find the GitHub page maybe. This is the GitHub page here. It's available in the AUR and on FlatHub, so you should be able to get it relatively easily no matter what Linux distribution you're on. But once you have it, let's go ahead and open that bad boy up. You're going to want to open up the MAKC GUI. Right off the bat, you can see we've got a little preview over here of what we're theming. There's a few preset themes and things, and you can also see you can pull from an image. There's a base 16 plugin that does a lot of cool stuff if that's the theme that you're in, if that's the theme you're into. I know a lot of Vim users are really into the base 16 thing, but any of the themes you click on, you've got quite a few options to go with them. So I'm just going to stick with this standard featured balloon theme. There are a few preset options for it, so you can sort of find one that you like, or you can literally edit every single color value to make whatever you want. One other thing to mention is that each category, so for example, we have the theme style here right now. Up top is the GTK and the QT5 themes that we're making. We have options to pick a few styles. So we've got like this arc boxy style, we've got this materia style, which is sort of based on the Google material design standards. I'm not super familiar with those, but I know those are a thing. And then we've got this MAKC numix based theme, which is just sort of this rounded corners thing, which is what I went with just because I recently rounded all the corners on my screen for some reason. I don't know why. And then you can literally come in and edit every color. You've also got options to edit the icon set. It will generate an icon theme for you, so you can literally just pick from any of the really popular icon sets, so the numix icons, the papyrus icons, archdroid, all that kind of stuff. And then you've also got a way to set terminal themes, and there's even a little Spotify theme down here. So I went ahead and I've just edited all the colors to get to something that I like. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch over to this materia theme just because what the heck, why not? This is basically Grovebox, but the actual background has been drugged down quite a bit. If you look right here, this is Grovebox running, because that's what my GTK theme is set as. It's got a sort of lighter background. I just wanted to black it out basically all the way, and that's really the only change I made. All the other colors are basically exactly what it is the same text color, all that kind of stuff. If you want, what you can do is go ahead and rename the theme. So I'm just going to call this one Mac. Why not? And then what we can do is I'm going to go ahead and hit export theme. It's going to give us a couple of options. Generate theme only for current GTK 3 version instead of 3.8 and 3.2. I don't actually really know what that means. I'm not super into this. This is really the first time I've ever made any themes. It's going to take just a minute to go ahead and generate a theme. And actually what it's doing, if we open up a file manager, let's just open up a terminal here and find a file manager. It's going to create a .themes directory. And you can see right here, it just made us a new theme called MAKC. Pretty cool. If we generate an icon file, it'll actually do the exact same thing. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and export the icons. I'm going to change the color of the icons just a little bit, actually. And then we can go ahead and hit export icons. It's going to do the same thing. Put a new icon theme and .icons in your home folder. Take it a minute, and then it'll be all set. So I forgot to mention it, but I am drinking whiskey. I've got Angel's Envy, favorite bourbon of Andrew Ray, Binging with Babish, and for good reason. It's a really, really good bourbon. It's one of the hardest ones to keep on my shelf. Anytime anyone comes over, they want to try it, and I end up emptying a ton of bottles of it. Anyways, if we now go back to LX Appearance and QT5CT, we're actually probably going to have to restart the apps, but we'll go ahead and do that. So I'll restart LX Appearance, and we have a new theme here, MAKC. It will actually go ahead and update in the in this app, and if we hit apply, it will make changes. But for anything else that uses the GTK theme or the QT theme, all you have to do is just restart the app. So we'll just restart Chrome. You can see now it's using the much darker GTK theme. Same is going to be true of, you know, anything else. Nitrogen, Thunar, actually even LibreOffice is now going to use a super dark theme. I wasn't actually totally expecting this even to work, but it totally did. It also did generate an icon theme for us. So if we go over and look for that icon theme, MAKC, there it is right there. I'm going to go ahead and apply. And then if we open up a file manager, you can get a pretty nice look at what those icons look like. Probably not the sexiest icons in the world. That has got to go to these candy icons. I don't know who made these, but if you're looking for some cool icons, these definitely, they seem so stupid, but I can't help but constantly go back and set these icons. It's the craziest icon theme in the world. Anyways, once you have that all set, we can go into QT5CT, and we're gonna also have a theme here. It's also gonna pull from that .themes folder, so we can pick the color scheme, MAKC. There we go. Go ahead and hit apply. And then if we come over to fonts, we can edit the fonts. And if we come over to icon theme, we should also have an icon theme. So we're going to hit apply there. And now let's open up VirtualBox. I just keep opening VirtualBox because it's the only QT app that I know. You know what? Actually, let's just solve the problem here. Let's search popular QT applications. Transmission QT, QTorrent. I don't have any of those installed. Qt web browser. Oh yeah, I know that. Transmission QT. It says Transmission QT, and you know what? I download my fair share of torrents, all Linux ISOs, mind you. So let me just install that real quick. Pack-s and install Transmission QT. Yes. And then if we try to launch it, Transmission QT. Hey, there we go right there. That's the old transmission app. I recognize that. One other thing we could potentially talk about is dmenu. This by default doesn't have a very interesting theme, but it actually is super, super easy to change, and it sort of falls into the vein of graphical apps. I know a lot of people are using it. So what you want to do is I'm actually going to go into my config for awesome. This is going to vary quite a bit depending on what window manager you're using, but I assume most people launch dmenu with a keyboard shortcut. And usually what you would do is you would have a keyboard shortcut set up, and what that would do is just launch dmenu_run. And that's the standard run prompt that dmenu uses to run. obviously, and you would just have your window manager of choice or your keyboard shortcut manager of choice launch this program whenever you want to do that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to link to a script. So if I go into my .scripts directory, you can see I have a script called dmenu. And if I go into the man page for dmenu, you can actually see there's a lot of options we can add to dmenu that will let us control some things. So we can add -B to make it appear on the bottom of the screen. We can actually lock it to one monitor. We can have it display multiple lines. We can pick a font if we want to. And then the cool thing is we can pick colors. So there's 4 colors. There is a normal background color, a normal foreground color, and then a selected text color and a foreground for color. So you can sort of see that here. We have a normal text color right here. We have a highlight thing here. It's going to highlight whatever the option is in red, and then it's going to have a text for that and a text for the background. I think by default it's set to use the same color for the background and the selected text, which was fine with me. I just left it at that. And then we have a text color here. So if I go into my script for dmenu, you can sort of see what we're doing here. I could open up a second terminal with the man page, and we could just sort of go through here and see what all of these flags are doing. So right off the bat, I have -NB, -SF, -SB, -NF that are setting all 4 of those colors. If I set one of them to something crazy, like, I don't know, let's just set the background to red. I think if we do FF there, that'll be red. And then if I run dmenu, now it's red. Then we have -FN, which is going to set a font face for us. I'm just using Product Sans, which is the same font I use basically everywhere on my system. It's sort of Google's font, which, I don't know, it's nice, I guess. Then we have -I, which just basically allows us to search regardless of case. Basically every app, the way that dmenu launches it, I think is lowercase by default, but if you do run into an app that specifically requires an uppercase, you won't get tripped up by that. If you're just searching for an app, that's not the kind of thing you would just remember. And then I have -M, and I have it set to 0. Monitor 0 is my middle monitor. I believe 0 should basically always be your primary monitor if you have it set up correctly in XR&R or whatever tool you use to set up your monitors. So there we go. If you don't know how to make the script, basically if we go into my scripts directory, you literally just need to create a file. So we'll create a new file, call it touch, and we'll call it test. You can give it the sh file extension or whatever file extension you want, but you don't have to. So I'm going to create a new file, call it test. Then we can use any text editor to come in here. And then all you need to do is come up to the top line, add a hashtag, then an exclamation point, /bin/bash. There's a couple of different ways to write this shebang, but this one should work totally fine. And then you can just save the changes and run chmod +X on the new file you just made, and now you have an executable file. It'll basically just run every command you write in here. So when we write out dmenu with all of those options, all it's doing is acting basically just as if we type dmenu into a shell with all of those options. Pretty cool. Anyways, that's all for this video, I think. If you're looking for a VPN, pure VPN. If not, cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.